Today's video will be featuring a Christmas layout from the Silver Bells collection and using some Cricut cuts as well as a free sketch that my customers and VIPs get. Hi, I'm Katie Taylor at scrappinkaty.com, where I show you how to preserve your family's memories through the art of scrapbooking. Here is a look at the catalog for November and December and the Silver Bells that I'll be using in today's video. Just kind of wanted to show you that catalog front. It is now available to get free in your first order on my website, so make sure you check out the links below. I love the Silver Bells. Here are the cards that I made from the catalog front. You can just see that gold and silver on these stickers. I just absolutely love them. And a lot of people think our sticker sheet is just for layouts, so it's nice to see some cards made with them as well. So here's a look at the sticker sheet. Again, it's got that gold and silver foiling to it. A lot of large images and then some sentiments as well as some borders. We've got silver borders up here and gold borders down there. And then here is a look at that paper collection. Love the patterns. Remember that you get 6 sheets, 2 of each design, but our patterns are double-sided. So if you don't like one side, then you definitely can use the 2 sheets that are the same pattern. And then of course the zip strips that are just super adorable with those. And then I have also pulled out our silver foil paper. So we have silver and gold. The silver, I think, is what I'm going to use with this, specifically probably these, and you'll understand once I show you the photos that I'm going to be using. But I just love not only the silver pattern, but because this is just white right here, you definitely can add some color to it using some of your ink pads and then some blending brushes. Makes it really easy to get that done. So I'm going to clear off my desk, grab my photos, and we can get started on this quick and easy layout. I am just going to start by sorting all of the Cricut cuts and then starting to get those adhered together. I will ink distress some of those just to kind of take away the white core from Close to My Heart's cardstock, as well as just kind of add some dimension. I wanted to mention on here, I don't know if you saw in the thumbnail, but I am actually in November, I am going to try my hardest to not use any new photos. So anything prior to 2020 or 2020, the ones I'll be using today are from December 2020. But you know how you have no shave November, I don't know, all the things. I thought that it would be cool to do a no new pictures November. And that will also get me into some of those older photos that I've wanted to start documenting those stories. A lot of them were printed before you had all the editing software, before you even had cell phones to take the photos. So some of them are going to be crappy photos, I know, but I hope that you'll come back, and I hope that you'll hold on to the fact that the story is being told and not necessarily the quality of the photos. So I just wanted to pop on there and tell you that while I am kind of getting these Cricut cuts in line, and you'll see how I'm adding ink to these, and then I will get these adhered together using some liquid adhesive. I am just going to adhere these 2-layer pine cones together. Now what I love about these pine cones is it's using toffee cardstock. That's right, both layers are toffee cardstock, but because Close to My Heart's cardstock is the true color on one side and the lighter color on the back, you kind of get that dark light shade, and it actually makes these pine cones look like they were cut from 2 different colors of cardstock. Also, I want to remind you that Close to My Heart's collections come with a digital file. So that is what I'm using for this. I'm using the Silver Bells digital collection. It allows you to download to your computer and then upload to your Cricut or your Silhouette software and cut those. Now, I love this Noel title. I wish I would have done the offset on the Merry Christmas. You'll see what I mean here in just a second once I start putting this layout together. So if you are going to make this layout on your own, you might want to consider doing that offset feature if you are familiar with the Cricut and how to do an offset. I'm going to get the rest of these done offline, and then we'll bring it back and start putting the layouts together. I am going to get my glass board cleaned up so that toffee ink doesn't get transferred to my project. Like I said, I am using the Silver Bells 2-page layout sketch that my customers and my VIPs get. I did want to show you that if you want to gut your charcoal cardstock and use some of that center for your photo mats, it really helps and it cuts down on bulk and the amount of paper that you will be using. So to assemble this left layout, I've put my White Daisy 12 by 12 cardstock onto my Versamat, and I've adhered down those 2 strips of the diagonal striped paper. Those are 2 by 6. And instead of wasting a big 6 by 12, which is the size of this ornament paper, I decided to cut that since the majority of it will be hidden. Now I'm trying to decide whether to use one of the zip strips from the Silver Bell or that silver foil paper. I end up liking the silver foil paper, but I want to see if I can ink it up and see how it looks instead of just stark white. So I've pulled out the charcoal ink, and even after removing the charcoal ink that's sitting on the foil portion, it's still just a little bit too dark. So I'm going to pull out the mink ink, which is another color, featured color in the Silver Bells. And I'm going to apply just a subtle layer of that mink ink to those foil pieces. And I end up really liking that. You can see where I've cut those down because, again, the majority of those are going to be hidden by that big focal piece. So I'm going to continue to add some mink ink to all the pieces, even the ones I'm going to use on the right side, and then use my Versamat to get those lined up, which basically I am straddling that 6-inch mark and kind of using the plaid stripe, that foil piece, as a guide. Now I'm using the light side of charcoal cardstock, and I'm adhering down this pattern paper. Now this is mink, and it reminds me of twinkle lights, and it does go flush to one side, and then there's an 1/8 of an inch border around 3 of the sides. So I'm going to adhere that down. I'm lining it up 1 inch from the top, 1 inch from the bottom using my Versamat, and I'm going to complete that right side layout as well. So that is all done, and now I can pull out my T-ruler and my photo mats. So I'm just going to line these up. I have a 4x6 portrait, and then I'm going to put one of those little toffee circles behind there that will basically just be a landing spot for the embellishment cluster that will go up there. And then a 3x4, again, using my T-ruler when I can to make sure that these are lined up. Now the spacing is off just a little bit, so I ended up doing 1/8 of an inch in between the left and the right, and then about 3/8 of an inch in between the 4x6s and the 3x4s. Again, I have that other little toffee circle in the bottom left or the bottom right, just to kind of add as a little anchor for those clusters. So I'm going to glue down this bow, and it's kind of little catty corner, and then I'm going to add liquid adhesive to the Merry Christmas. Now, there's not a whole lot that hangs over that photo, so I didn't have to worry about not adding adhesive. And then, of course, this Christmas doesn't hang over anything, so I can go ahead and get it adhered down. I just basically needed to make sure that the H didn't hang off the top of the layout. So I'm happy with that, and then I'm going to start the little cluster down at the bottom right. So I've got the holly leaves and then 2 sizes of those pine cones. The larger pine cone, I am going to use 3D foam tape and go ahead and adhere that. Now the little berries that come with the holly, I end up not using much of those. I will use one on the right layout, and then of course those little stars get adhered down. I did think that the title, this is where the Merry Christmas, I wish I would have done an offset feature, but I didn't. So in order to kind of highlight that title, I have used my white gel pen, and I'm just adding some white gel pen marks. You'll be able to see in the still shots, and also when I bring the layup up a little bit closer, you'll be able to see just what that does to highlight those pieces. So for the right layout, again, it's pretty much the same. You have 2 4x6s and 2 3x4s. One of the 3x4s I'm actually going to use just as an anchor for some of the Cricut cut embellishments. Now I am going to pull out that left layout just to kind of see how far from the left those are, and then kind of move those over to the right, because I noticed that when I was putting that 4x6 landscape photo, it was just a little bit too close to that left edge for me. So again, trying to keep those, the left and the right photos, 1/8 of an inch apart like I did on the left layout, and then about 3/8 of an inch in between the 4x6 and the 3x4s. Here is where that silver foil star paper comes in. Again, using another one of those toffee circles just to kind of add as an anchor spot. Now these, I don't know yet what I'm going to do with them. I don't think I'm going to journal, but I think I'll add the date and the place. So the photos that I am using actually are from one of the White House Christmas parties. So I've mentioned this before because I've actually documented 2019, I believe. But our oldest son, he lives up in the DC, Maryland area, and he and his girlfriend were, well, now his fiance, they were invited to 2 of the White House Christmas parties. So this is the year 2020. Again, COVID was kind of going on. You'll see some of the photos, they have masks on. And I just love that our son's fiance, his mother, her mother also scrapbooks. She's become one of my good friends. And I love that she takes all the photos and she sends them to me. So that allows me, even though I'm not present, to kind of document those memories. Now I am adding some of the Silver Bells glitter gems. Absolutely love those. I did also add some of the white to the center of those bows. And you just love that silver pattern paper. So I am going ahead and adding the photos. Now I usually don't do this if you're new here. I usually add the photos as I go, but because this layout is for my VIPs and my customers, I wanted to be able to take a picture of the finished layout without the photos on it. So that's why I did the entire layout and then adding these photos after the fact. But you can see here them all dressed up. They actually rode in a limo. They're drinking champagne. And I thought that these photos just went perfectly with the Silver Bell collection. The silver and the gold from this collection kind of lend itself to some fancy photos. And so these definitely worked really well with those. Now I will be using this collection on non-fancy photos later on this month. So make sure you stick around for that. Here is a look at those finished layouts without the photos, and then we'll take a look at close-ups of them with the photos. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. Remember to shop those links found down below. And if you liked what you saw, hit that subscribe button and sign up for notifications so you won't miss another crafty video. Thanks and have a wonderful weekend.